From Bentonville, Arkansas, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. It's an abbreviated version, but we're happy to get it in. The rain is outside right now. We're going to get to talk to someone whose name's Stormy anyway in just a moment, so I suppose that's appropriate for Great American Conference softball. I'm Joey McWilliams, and it is a privilege today to get to visit with the head softball coach of the Harding Lady Bisons, Coach Phil Berry, in his 8th season with the program, and this is actually his farewell tour, if you will, as he will be retiring at the end of this season. So, Coach, I guess every game at this point could be the final game.
It could be, but we're just taking it one game at a time like you always do and looking forward to getting out there for the next one with our players.
Now, we're going to be broadcasting on the GAC Sports Network a little bit later on today the semifinals and the championship of the 2021 edition of the GAC softball tournament. Coach, I have to tell you, it's been a privilege to get to cover you not only during the regular season, but also in Bentonville all these years. You bring great teams to the tournament, and it's just always a privilege to get to see those girls out there. They play well, and I think they represent the university well.
Well, we believe that too. We've tried really hard in our program to recruit great families who have great daughters, and been privileged that they've entrusted their daughters to us to coach in our program.
You mentioned the word family, and I think that's also a word that's very appropriate when it comes to Harding, because not only does it give the idea of a family university, but there are families that play. I mean, sisters and brothers and dads to children and moms to children over the years that have been a part of the program. It just seems like a place where legacy is the rule, not the exception.
It really is that way at Harding. A lot of our coaches were students there or played sports there, and so a lot of the people who get the privilege of going through the university for their college career return to the university and mentor and grow the next generation of athletes and students at the university.
Before I talk about your farewell tour just a little bit more, I want to talk about then where we are right now. You were saying one game at a time, and you took care of business yesterday. You won in your game, an 8-2 victory over Oklahoma Baptist. A pretty good game overall. Talk about that win.
Well, we fortunately got off to a good start. Nicole Shano hit a 2-run homer in the first inning to get us going, and then we got 3 consecutive 2-out singles to score 3 more and got off to a good start. Kind of relaxed everybody. We forget, because we didn't do this last year, that none of our freshmen or sophomores, and we're a pretty young team, have done this. They haven't played in a conference tournament, and so getting them settled with a good start in the first inning really helped. And then Lily Tansky did a great job in the circle of shutting down Oklahoma Baptist, keeping them quiet, and we were fortunate enough to get away with the win.
She did well. Tansky, of course, the GAC Pitcher of the Year, and she took care of business in the circle. But, it's one of those things, too, you can't replicate playoff experience. I mean, you have to have it in order to have it, but then to get what, in essence, proved to be the game-winning hit in the first inning, like you said, I'm sure that goes a long way.
It really does. It helps. I mean, our players have had a lot of experience in high school and travel ball, but it's different at this level, and it really did help to get off to a great start yesterday.
We have the privilege now to speak with Phil Berry, who's in his 8th season with the program at Harding. And, Coach, you started the program there 8 years ago, revived it, if you will. It had been around for a while, but that was a few years back. Both of us were a lot younger at that point in time. But you've revived the program, and there's no doubt you've done a fantastic job. In the previous 6 or 7 seasons, 30-win seasons along the way. 2017 was a fantastic year as you made it well deep into the NCAA tournament, 50-plus wins that year, too.
Well, it's been a great run, and it's been a privilege to be associated with the university, for them to allow me to come back to where I graduated from and revive this program and get it off the ground. A lot of great people helped make that happen, from Dr. Birch, Dr. McClarty, believing in softball as a value to the university, to Greg Harnden and Jeff Morgan as athletic directors who have supported the program so much, and then the coaches who have worked on our staff and contributed to the program, and then just a great group of players. I get to fill out a lineup card. They do all the hard work, and all the success we've had has really been because of what they've done on the field.
Well, and you say that, and I appreciate the humility in that, but I know there's a lot of hard work that goes into coaching, especially an NCAA college program. I mean, there is a lot that goes into that. When you look back, and of course you'll remember all these players, I'm sure, and some of the moments. What is one moment, one or two moments that stand out to you?
Well, when you look back and reflect, the ability of that first group that started as freshmen to go through the early stages of the program, where in the first year we really didn't have anybody on the roster that played a Division II softball game, including their head coach. And so we told each other that first year that none of us know what we're doing and we'll figure it out as we go along. To 4 years later, having that run in 2017 with that group of players, and then starting over a little bit after that group graduated, then to try to rebuild it to a group this year that's having a lot of success. Those are kind of the hallmarks of the things that I'll remember, is just each year's players being a little bit different, each team being a little bit different, and hopefully building a legacy of success on the field, off the field, in terms of what we've been able to do with our program.
The team is 34-11 coming into today's semifinal game. You all are taking on Southeastern Oklahoma, a team that, your team swept just a little more than a week ago, and so 3 consecutive wins. It's tough to keep beating the same team over and over again. What do you see coming into today?
Well, they're a very talented team, and first and foremost, just our prayers go out to Coach Fabian, and we hope he recovers soon and will be back on the field with his team and is with the players. So our prayers out to him and his family right now. And as you mentioned, it's very tough to beat anybody 4 times in a row, and we know we got our hands full. They've got a very, very talented group that we're looking forward to the challenge today.
All right. Well, Coach, success to you, and I have to say thank you very much, because it has been a privilege to get to cover you and to get to visit with you, not only on the sidelines. I mean, we've made phone calls over the years, done the videos over the years. You've made an appearance or two in the press box during other games and just come up, and it was just you would light up the place. It was a privilege to get to have you come up and visit, and I hope that you will continue to do that then in subsequent softball tournaments and more.
We hope to do that and hope to look at it from a fan's perspective for now and be supporting other teams and other coaches. And thank you, Joey, for all that you and the GAC team have done for the sport of softball.
Well, thank you very much, and may your season and your career last as long as it possibly can. Thank you very much. Coach Phil Berry, the Harding softball coach, and it's a privilege to have him here on Midwest Sports Saturday here on the Midwest Sports Net channel. And I'm going to have my broadcast partner for this weekend show up again, who is appropriately named for softball in Bentonville, Stormy Leonard. The storms, it's been a light rain so far. However, I hear more storms are coming. And we have the blinds behind us over here to either side dim just a little bit because it still looks bright outside. There's quite a glow, but we may get some games in.
Maybe a game with a few sprinkles or so. Maybe the girls can play in the rain if there's no, threat of lightning or anything. But hopefully we can get some games started, even if it's a little bit later this afternoon, but really finish out this tournament today.
We're hearing that game time was scheduled for 12:30, but it looks like that the first semifinal game is 1 o'clock. If you want to watch that, it'll be on the GAC Sports Network. And then the second game would follow tentatively at 3:30. Championship tonight at 7 o'clock. If everything goes well, and we hope it does. I've been in Bentonville for some GAC softball tournaments that have gone well beyond the scheduled time for first pitch and more, but that's just part of it. Again, with Stormy Leonard now, and it's a privilege to get to broadcast with her. I have really enjoyed the time here in 2021 and getting to have you next to me in the broadcast booth and in all sorts of sports. Of course, she is a former volleyball player from Ouachita and recently got your master's from Arkansas Tech. So you're continuing to further your education.
Yes, I'm staying in the GAC doing so, which has been fun because obviously I was familiar with Arkansas Tech during my time at Ouachita Baptist, but it's been nice to experience another school in the GAC and see how different schools work and be around different athletic departments and just see the success of teams that I've played against and teams that I played with.
Also, you have some upcoming opportunities that I know you're going to be heading toward very soon. Talk about those.
So actually coming next week, I'll be moving to Oklahoma City to work as an intern for USA Softball. I'll be in the communications department covering a lot of their summer tournaments, even being around some of Team USA before they head to the Olympics. So I'm really excited.
Definitely going to have to stay in touch and get your take on all of that. That is really exciting, really cool, and we're happy and proud for you.
Thank you.
For this weekend, then, we saw 4 games yesterday, and higher seeds won all the way around. As started off the day with Arkansas Tech with a 13-0 victory over Southern Nazarene, and then the top seed Southern Arkansas defeated Arkansas Monticello. It was 6-1 in that game. Trying to remember all the scores. I think I have them all down. Harding with a 6-2 victory yesterday over Oklahoma Baptist, and then Harding won 8-2, I'm sorry, and then Southeastern won 9-2 in the nightcap with the victory over Ouachita. And I think there's a lot to look forward to in both of these semifinals today. The first one we talked about was Harding and Southeastern. That'll be our second matchup this afternoon. And since we just had Coach Berry on the program, talk about what you see in that.
Well, I think even just all 3 yesterday, we saw some pretty strong pitching performances, and I think that's going to play into today. You looked, and they took care of the defensive side of the game. They didn't have many runs scored on them, even though they were able to get on the board pretty quick. So I think that you'll look to see a very strong pitching performance from both Harding and Southeastern in that second game today.
The first game, again, we said was now tentatively scheduled for 1 o'clock, and it's a matchup that I think is probably the most highly anticipated matchup then of the tournament in Arkansas Tech and Southern Arkansas, mainly because the two teams didn't see each other during the regular season. COVID issues, weather issues, the whole 9 yards that went into that. It's just been one of those years, and so that series did not get made up. That one should be a big one today as well.
Absolutely, and I think when you look at the history of the tournament and the history of the GAC, Arkansas Tech and Southern Arkansas are two of the teams that you see up at the top every single year, whether it's in the regular season or in the tournament. So I think they've kind of created their own kind of rivalry, especially coming into the tournament. I know Arkansas Tech has won in both 2018 and 2019 and wasn't able to compete in the 2021 due to the pandemic. So I think they've got the momentum that they find in the tournament to carry through, but I know Southern Arkansas is one of the best teams in the country, and it's always competitive. So I think that'll be a really good matchup today.
Southern Arkansas is currently number 19 in the country, number 4 in the Central Region rankings, and the only team of the 4 remaining teams in the GAC tournament currently in the regional rankings. So you would think in order to get a bid, Southern Arkansas has a good chance to make it on to the NCAA tournament. Win or lose today, the other 3 teams would likely have to go ahead and win out to get the automatic bid to advance.
Absolutely. The central region that we're in is so competitive across all sports. You see national champions come out of almost every sport at some point in our region. So it's really hard for our teams in the GAC to kind of make that under consideration nomination right now before they come out with full rankings. And even now with softball, they have the rankings. It takes a lot, and because we haven't been able to get a lot of in-region games, it's been a little bit tougher this year with COVID protocols and weather kind of interfering with a lot of that. It's been tougher, but I know that the teams in the GAC are just as competitive at times, and we just haven't necessarily been able to show that with our schedule this year, but I know that they've been competitive within the conference. So I think we have a good shot at least getting 2 teams in there this year.
All right, well, you are encouraged to watch the softball games. 3 more on the docket today, and we hope that all 3 of them get played. 2 semifinals and a championship tentatively scheduled in for 7 o'clock tonight. Thank you, Stormy, very much for, again, being with me here on Midwest Sports Saturday here on the Midwest Sportsnet channel, and I encourage you please do subscribe to the channel as well.
Thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to be able to broadcast with you and be on this with you, so I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you again for watching. God bless you. Thank you very much. And we will see you soon. Again, please subscribe. Midwest Sportsnet. Have a great day.